Hello and welcome to Farm Space. We are at AGRITECHNICA 2023. I'm at Pottinger. We're speaking to them about everything that they've got on the stand. You can check there. There's a mower going like this and that, and yeah, we'll speak to them a little bit. First, I'm going to speak to Win. So Valtrac is the official distributor in South Africa, and anything Pottinger you can get from them. So let's have a listen. So here's the whole Pottinger team from South Africa. Eh? Bronwyn, Uncle Win, and we've got Michael here. Uncle Win, so you're saying you're familiar with this thing going up and down behind us. Just explain to me quickly. Why do you've been around the block a few times, and why did you decide to import the Pottinger machine specifically into South Africa? I mean, if you look at AGRITECHNICA, you could have picked anything, but why did you go this route?
Well, the first time I came to AGRITECHNICA was somewhere around about 1999, somewhere around there. And at that stage, I saw this demo, this Alpha Motion behind me, and it's so impressive. If you see the angles it can cut through, and the weight can tilt and whatever, and it's actually on a front mounted mower where you actually can't really see what's happening. You need a suspension and you need an articulation like this to actually work properly. And that is where I actually thought Pottinger really has something in them. And we actually started the negotiations, and it took quite a few years for me to convince them that we could have the machines in South Africa. And yeah, the rest is all history. And we still have I think the best front mounted mower in the world.
But okay, so tell me a little bit more about this, okay? Because what's happening exactly, and why is it so impressive?
Okay, if you take the back, the 3-point linkage of this is actually standing dead still, and the ground is moving away in front of you. So if you basically cut in South Africa and you go into a ditch, the ground falls away. Yeah. And the blade will actually follow the ground contour. And if you go up against the bank, the blade will actually lift to the contour. You can see left and right articulation as well. So it actually makes for perfect mowing in terrain that isn't totally level. Anybody can cut in level terrain, but if you have slight uneven ground, you basically need the machine like this.
And am I correct in saying that's more or less the same concept that they're following with their mowers that's hitched behind the tractors as well?
It's a bit different because this here uses a single mounting point, and it's not that critical for the rear mounted mowers because they're actually following behind the tractor, so you don't have the same oscillation.
I'm with you.
But on the front mounted mower, because the mower is so far forward, it actually makes a big, with this mower you're never going to push a mower into a contour wall or something. It'll actually lift and go over the contour wall, and it's not working with any hydraulics or anything. It's just on the springs and on the center point articulation knuckle, as we call it. Yeah.
So still, me being a farmer, I'm still skeptical. Does this work in practice?
Of course, yes. You can look at the amount of front mower sales in South Africa, the Pottinger brand. I think we've got front mowers. I think we're by far the market leader. And
I think the one thing that you've managed to do is actually convert people from the self-propelled to the butterflies.
Yeah, I think to a certain degree we have, because we can actually get the same production and even more production of the butterfly mowers. If you mount it to a decent tractor, you get very, very good production. And Lucerne as well. These mowers are available with roller conditioners, which we have a lot running in South Africa, as you know, and they really do well.
Awesome. Okay, and so then if we move here this side, we're not going to stand still too much, but so this is basically the front mower.
This is the lighter version, similar to what other people might have. Alpha Motion is definitely the Rolls Royce of the front mowers, yeah.
And then we've got a I don't know what to call it, a rotary rake. Okay, I wanted to call it a power rake, but a rotary rake. And I mean, we've had the baler challenge before, where we had like 13 balers going at it at your premises, and you use this thing to basically rake it. But here's the thing, so this is not a cheap rake, it's expensive. Is it worth its money in terms of what you get and in terms of longevity? Because I think that's one of the things that people tend to forget about, is that with wheel rakes, like every 3 years you're buying a new rake.
Yeah.
And with this thing, it looks like it's built to last.
Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, our own rake that we use on our own farm is a double rotor rake, and we've been running that for many, many years. And we're actually still using it. Now, if you take this rake here, if you look at the build of the rake, you know, the spider wheels, the 5 wheels, and then also in the front, the what's this thing called?
You can do the Afrikaans with as well.
And the size of our rotor, we actually there's a cutaway of the rotor on the other side there. It's the biggest cam follows in the industry, and it actually makes for disc that really lasts very well. But the big advantage of the rotor rakes is that the quality of feeding you're getting. You're not getting a lot of trash and nonsense in your feed because it's not running in the ground like a wheel rake. A wheel rake actually has to run in the ground to actually work properly, else it's the rake clean. And we've seen with these rakes, we've actually gone with a wheel rake, and you go afterwards with a rake like this, you actually get a windrow again. So actually, yes, for sure. It's not going to be a massive windrow, but it's enough to pick up again. And you know, with the baler challenge, we use this rake and we put 12 meters together, and we've got a 100% even windrow. And it makes your baling better, it makes your quality of baling better, it makes everything better. So there's definitely a market for these machines. Yes, they are expensive, they are going to last longer for the bigger contractors and the bigger farms, where labour is also becoming expensive. You need 1 tractor here, and you're doing actually 4 tractors work. So it's actually, for the big people, big contractors, sound definitely.
But I mean, you look at something like Lucerne, that's not cheap anymore. 1 bale is like 4,000 Rand, something.
Yeah.
And if you're going to be leaving Lucerne on the ground by using wheel rakes, at the end of the day, it's like 2 or 3 cuts or maybe a year, then you've basically paid off this thing.
Well, if you're looking at Lucerne, a wheel rake, as far as I'm concerned, is a total no-go. Because the amount of leaves you lose, and the quality that you're losing, the protein difference between a wheel rake and a rotary rake, a power rake, is a massive difference. And you know, it all comes into your pocket. Eventually your investment pays off.
Something else I want to look at is, if you look at the build quality here, now I've now checked at AGRITECHNICA, and there's a few companies that I can identify that really, when it comes to build quality, they do not compromise on anything. And if I can say, Pottinger is one of them.
For sure. And if you take all brackets, anything on this machine is actually pre-painted before it's assembled. So you won't get any bare metal up against each other anywhere. It's not painted after assembled. Every individual item on this machine, doesn't matter if it's a spanner, a bracket, or anything, is actually pre-painted, pre-powder coated with a very high quality paint. You'll notice another thing, all the bolts and everything are all plated. You know, it's a machine that lasts. And I think wheel rakes in South Africa got a bit of a bad name at one stage, and it was because of the quality of wheel rakes we were getting. It wasn't top quality stuff. And if you really buy a top quality machine like a Pottinger, it's going to last a long time.
And that's what I want to. That's what I want to. And then I think, can we get Michael in this conversation? So when I was in Switzerland against the hills, all that I was seeing was Pottinger. Okay, I didn't see anything else. I just saw Pottinger. But is this the reason why everything is just like hilly and so forth, and it actually works there?
That is actually the big benefit, because we grow up in the Alps. We are close to the mountains, we are close to these uneven areas, and that's what we learn. That's what Vin has shown you on the Alpha Motion. The key is always the ground adaptation. The better the ground adaptation is, the cleaner the forage, the less dirt you have in the grass, and the better is in the end the yield for the dairy farm, because it needs less concentrated feed, because it gets more milk out of the ground feed. And the basis, as Vin described, is always the cutting quality. Because the more constant the stubbles on the field are, the better I can adapt later the time. Because the more uneven the stubbles are, the deeper I have to adjust the time from the tether and the power rake afterwards. So the more constant the cut, the better I can adjust the other parts of the machines. And here, in addition, all other machines have to adapt the ground as good as possible. And this is what you can see here. Very uneven ground, and still every single rotor can adapt individual to the ground, which makes the grass in the end much cleaner and of much higher quality than without this ground adaptation.
And then when I want to get back to you quickly, so sometimes some people feel that tethers are an unnecessary thing. Okay, We've seen now at the Baler Challenge, I mean, we've been around the block now with this thing. If we didn't have that, we would have been totally screwed and we would have bailed like 3 days after the event had finished. What is my value add by using a tether?
Andre, tethers were not popular in South Africa at all, and I also thought that tether was a waste of time, something that was used in England. Until I actually got a Pottinger convinced us that we need to get a tether into South Africa, which I brought in, I used on my own farm. And all of a sudden I could actually get my hay off without getting it wet.
And just to put that into perspective, you're still a dairy farmer. That's, oh yeah, but any case, that's a topic for another day.
I was using a Pottinger mower with a finger conditioner.
Yeah.
Which was the thing to do in those days. Also very expensive, expensive piece of machinery. And what I eventually found out that I could buy a normal Pottinger mower and a small tether for the same price as a combination machine. The advantage was with the tether I was able to get my grass drier quicker, even with a finger conditioner, and it gave me the ability to bale before my grass actually got wet. And I think we actually introduced the tethers to the South African market. I think that after everybody's actually seen the value of it, and also with our baler days, we saw that we didn't have tethers, we would not have had those days.
100%.
We were able to cut on the Monday, we bail on the Wednesday, and we've had rain and we've had all kinds of effects. And the tethers have actually been the machines that have actually done it. And it's especially also with the Pottinger tether, the unique shape of the arm. And the fingers, they're not the same length and type of thing. So if you look on the other side, you actually see where it's actually touching the ground. You get both fingers just about the same height above the ground. So, a tether looks like a tether, but a tether is not a tether. You need to look at the quality you're getting to get the work done.
But that's the thing.
As well, if you look at the size of this wheel rotor rake, and all the rakes are the same. If you've got a big one, you've got a small one, it's all the same. Well, the scam track here is actually the biggest in the industry, and if you look at the angles here, they're all very gradual, and because they're gradual and not sharp, you have a very smooth operation. So you don't have jerky operation. That also makes it last longer. There's less torque on it because you've got a gradual bend and not a sharp bend.
And you get a smooth raking action. You don't get that.
You don't, it's very, very smooth. It takes less power as well. So it's really, the Pottinger equipment is, I'm very, very fond of my Pottinger.
And Michael, I want to get you back in here, okay? So I've now visited a few factories, and the one thing that I found out was that profile cutting is one thing, and then being able to make angles like this and having them hardened and having them actually last, and in that way, that's not cheap, that's expensive.
That's not cheap. The thing is, so there I have to speak actually a little bit about the history of Pottinger. Pottinger is a more than 150-year-old company and still family-owned, 100%. So the family owners are here going around on the stand, speaking to the employees, speaking to our partners, and speaking also to the customers. And their idea was always and is still to make everything what's possible to make yourself, you should do yourself. And we are still, so when you visit our factory, you're kind of invited whenever to visit our factory.
I'm gonna keep you to that one.
So everyone who did it did find out that we are not an assembly factory, really a production factory. We have laser cutting machines, we have a lot of different welding robots in the factory. We have robots welding the mower bed together. So this is everything very high precision and highly automated, but also it's everything in-house. And the idea behind is not really the pricing, because also supplier can do it cheap. But the big benefit when you do it yourself, you can control it also. You can see when you go out and when there is an issue. I don't want to say that we don't have issues, so for sure we do have.
Yep.
But the biggest thing is always that you can react quick, and you cannot react quicker than going outside, which is 100 meters away, and ask and tell the person who did it, to tell him, hey, why is this thing broken? What have you done wrong? And then he can directly fix this issue. So this is the biggest benefit when you do things yourself. And this is also why we can do things like this, because we are close to the customer as well. And when the customer says that the grass is hanging on the straight arms and the machine doesn't look clean, so why don't we just make it bent? So then we make it bent, the grass can fall off, the machine runs much smoother, and then results like this come out.
And that's basically what you want at the end of the day.
Another point that we haven't really touched on is actually the research facility that Pottinger have in the own R&D division is just across the road. I mean, the testing that they do there is incredible. If you ever have the opportunity to visit that, that's really an eye-opener to see what these machines go through before they actually go into the market. It's actually really
it sounds like myself and Valtrac is going to do a visit sometime.
And the other thing I'd like to add is, it doesn't matter the quality of the machine. If you don't have the spare parts backing, you've got nothing. And Pottinger spare parts facility is a world-class facility, which is, I can't describe it. It's so automated, whatever, it just happens. And if we order parts from South Africa from Pottinger, we know we're going to get the part. It's not a story that it's got in stock or back order, whatever. They have the facility, and it's doubled up. Every part is in 2 locations. And if one robot's not working, it can be picked out to another location. So the backup of Pottinger is incredible.
And I must say that coming from you, because Michael, I don't know if you know, if you've seen their spares that they've got. If he's got nothing to do, he orders spares. It's just so pedantic that his customers will not have spares. I mean, they're a family-owned business and they carry the same amount of spares as the OEMs in South Africa. So that coming from him, that means he's done his homework.
100%. So that is a great collaboration we have since years and decades, and this is really continuing very great. So that's.
I don't know if you actually noticed that in our Valtrac product lineup, most of the companies we do with are actually family-owned companies.
Yep.
Valtrac is a corporate, but the rest are basically all family-owned companies. Like there's a Mr. Pottinger and whatever, and I mean they run the show, you can meet them. And it's how it goes with a lot of the other companies we deal with, because we as a family-owned and a family-oriented company, we actually are able to do better business with family-owned companies, and you have that contact and the people understand your problem more than corporates. That's a very, very.
You're not just a number.
Not just a number, exactly.
And that's important.
Side.
So okay, and then I just want to let's briefly run through the tillage machines that you've got as well. I've been seeing these fine seed combination machines, let's say with the power arrows. I mean, my brother just bought one of these, but he had to, not those, but he had to make his own plan, like we call it in Afrikaans a mogetroffen plan.
Yes.
So I had like a power arrow with a 3-point ditch and whatever, and it semi-works. But this thing looks like it's been purpose-built for fine seeding. But the short and the long of it is, he managed to eliminate 4 passes by basically doing that. And traditionally, in South Africa especially, we've been going away from the power arrows, but it looks like that's something that's coming back.
Look, it depends on soil conditions and what you want to achieve. But I mean that with labour and everything becoming expensive and increase and so on, everything, it depends what you want to do and what you want to achieve. But the big thing about the Pottinger is like, look, you've got a power arrow here. The seed box is separate. It's actually mounted on here, so you don't have to have the seed box. You don't have to have the seed on the back. So you basically can build a machine the way you actually want it to be built and to get to the results you want to get. The big problem is that it's very, very difficult to keep a machine like this in stock in South Africa, because there's so many different variations, size-wise or whatever. But the machines, if we can pre-order machine for customers' requirement, is that's how we can actually do it. And the cost is also low, because we don't have the cost of carrying that stock that might actually stand around if it's not sold. So any of the equipment on the Pottinger stand is available to us in South Africa, and we just have to basically get it done. And it's actually sometimes a lot cheaper to bring a customer here to see the equipment, see what he wants to order, and then do it accordingly, and to get the stock there, and eventually it doesn't sell, it's the wrong size, the wrong model, the wrong watch. So that's the way we'd actually like to operate.
The range there is massive. So we have it from a 3-meter machine, which is rateable, suited for 150 horsepower tractors, up to mounted machines for 6 meter with front tank or trailed power arrows, up to 500 horsepower with combined seeding. So we have, as you said, ideal for one pass effect. This is a system which is very, very common in Europe. So here everyone uses a power arrow. The big benefit is, and that's happening here, so you can plow directly afterwards go with the power arrow, and more or less independent of the weather. If it's one day not raining, we are having a lot of rain in September when there is normally barley to be seeded. So with this system you can more or less do it always. Whereas direct planting, like the UK farmers, it is very famous, but all of the UK farmers have a direct drill, but also in the shed there is one of these combinations, because they always say this always works. That's the big benefit. That's why here in Europe this question.
And then some very, very heavy soils, we get drought forming, you have to break them up, you have to get a seed bed for. So I mean, that works very, very well. This is something that we've actually got in South Africa. These little Fox, a much lighter version of a compact disc, which is made basically for seeding. So you use this as your primary
Basic seed bed preparation, and then you drill.
Some other roller, and with different drill versions. I mean, you could actually put that drill over that you saw first. We could put onto here. This one here, I don't even like this, is actually a maize or a singulating drill.
Yeah.
So it actually has a singulating unit there.
That's awesome.
And it plants twin rows of maize or
Soybeans.
yeah. So you know there are different variations as well for different size farmers.
And then this is the big daddy here behind. A 6 meter.
Rated up to 500 horsepower power hero seed combination combines.
So I just need a 500 horsepower tractor for it. Not
Speak to Valtrac.
yeah, speak to okay. There's you can get the Valtrac tractor to put that in front. Or not the Valtrac, we're gonna have to go fend for that one.
It is rated actually up to 500 horsepower, so we recommend at least 300 horsepower depending on the soil condition.
Yeah.
But that's definitely what you need, because in the end you buy this machine as a professional farmer who wants to make a lot of output, and that's only possible with the kilowatt.
That's awesome. Okay, so Michael, then what I want to hear from you is, so I'm always get it on the haymaking side. I don't need much more proof than the whole of Switzerland using your machines against all the Alps there that they've got. But in terms of the tillage and everything, what is your philosophy? Because it's one thing cutting grass and getting that off, totally different ball game going into the ground.
The philosophy actually this is the same for
Yeah.
This is the same for all conditions. So our philosophy is the best working result. We are not working for the cheapest machine. We are not working for metal. We are producing machines for the best working result. But that's what the farmer has to have. He has to have the best seed placement. He has to have the best ground working, so that the seed has the best conditions to grow up. And this is always our motto when we produce a machine and develop machine, is the best working result. And this is why we do the things as we do the things.
So you are results driven. So this is basically, if I can put it correctly, this is a piece of maths and physics and everything put together with biology. It's not a piece of metal. If you're saying you're results driven.
Exactly, no, it's not a piece of metal. It is really, when you take a look at the machines, guys, every single piece, we have a lot of experience. We are producing the seed drills in the oldest seed drill factory in the whole Europe. So we have a huge experience in the whole seed drill sector. And when you can see, we do at first, that's actually one pass machine without power here. We are doing cultivation at the front. We are putting fertilizer in rows. We don't spread it out. We are putting it in rows. We compact everything, and then at the total last step, we are putting the seed in the ground and then press the seed into again. And so we have the best emergence. And this is something what we have proven a lot. So we are very, very strong in markets where the yield is the most important thing.
Because yield is always the most important thing, because at the end of the day, yields pay for that thing.
The marketable thing is we don't have any of these in South Africa, but some are running in Zimbabwe.
So we don't have them in South Africa, but they're running in Zimbabwe. Okay, 20 years back we wouldn't have been laughing, or just over 20 years, but now it's just like, what the hell? But why do you think that is? Is it just our market is not ready for this yet to an extent?
I think to a certain extent, yes. I think we have the farmers that would actually love a machine like this, but the cost of a machine like this is pretty high. And I don't think the farmers have actually seen the cost benefit of using a machine like this, because, you know, we have relatively cheap labor and that type of thing. So, you know, but a machine like this, one pass machine that's going to give you the results. And the other thing is our prices of our commodities. You know, the higher the price of the commodity goes, the more you can actually afford a machine like this. And I mean, South Africa is a country of professional farmers, and we should actually be having machines like this running in South Africa for sure.
I totally agree with you, and it's when you look at the Europeans in terms of machinery, they wouldn't have been selling these things. And I mean, I've been walking around AGRITECHNICA now, and there's a lot of these types of machines that's available. but they wouldn't have gone that route if it didn't work.
For sure. You know, definitely. I mean, they sell these machines all over the world. I mean, they run in Australia, they run in America, Canada, all over they work. And but yeah, they are expensive, unluckily. And the big other thing is, you know, rand dollar's not in our favor either.
Yeah.
And that actually makes a big difference. Yeah.
The great thing there is, I mean, we are really on a fantastic piece of metal here, to be fair. It is actually the machine itself does drive on the field itself. If the operator, him, only needs to control the tractor. The machine, so you drive the first time, you drive around on the field, so the machine has its line and knows where the field ending is. And when you come close to the field ending, at first the front section lifts, then it turns off the fertilizer lifts, then it turns off the cereal section where the seed is planted, and then it lifts the rest. Then the tractor turns, and in the end actually it does the same, the opposite direction. And if the tractor is like one of the modern tractors auto-steered as well, then the tractor driver, the operator, is only passenger, and he is there to control and to check if everything still works. There you can see this on the control boxes.
Yeah.
This is not something like 20 years ago. So we are really speaking of high professional computer technology which is necessary to control all of these machines. So this is really a high professional machine where we stand.
I think I'd like to say that Pottinger's Isobus is Isobus. It really works. If it says Isobus, you plug it into your Isobus track.
And it does work.
And a lot of companies use the Pottinger emulators and stuff to actually demonstrate their Isobus technology because it does work.
So when you've been around the block a few times, I think you've got the hair color to prove it. You've seen agriculture change fundamentally in the past 20 years. Where do you think it's going, and how does Pottinger fit into your future as a South African company for that future that's coming?
No, I think technology is actually becoming the name of the game. I mean, it's happening, happening all over. And South Africa is a company that actually adopts technology quite easily. You know, if I take 2 years ago, AutoSteer, we were already at AutoSteer tractors when in Europe the guys just thought it was totally new. That
yeah, okay, but they are farming on stamps, so we.
But on the other hand, I mean, you take in Europe where Nassau's Roundup, they're not allowed to use and things like that. They have to come up with different technology to actually get the same results. And I think with the pressure on Roundup and that type of thing going forward, we're going to have more and more problems using it. And I think if we don't adapt to the technology that they're using, we're basically going to have problems with our export of our products and things like that. So I think we need to keep abreast of it. Pottinger is part of Valtrac. I mean, it's I don't want to say it's my favorite company, but it's difficult to say that, but it's really, really very, very close to the top. It's close to my heart. And you look at the quality, you look at the paintwork, you look at the people, you look at the family that's involved, and you actually can't go wrong. And the customer comes first. The Pottinger, that enables us as Valtrac to basically put the customer first as well.
Right, so I couldn't have said that better. This is Pottinger from AGRITECHNICA 2023, when Deadworth from Valtrac, they're the South African importers. So if you want to get a Pottinger, no matter what it is awesome machines. You will not go wrong. Link on top or below, and then you can get in contact with them. It's here from AGRITECHNICA 2023. Till next time, cheers.